Please join me in welcoming on our stage one and only Piotr Wieczerzak.
Thanks, Anna. Can you hear me well in the back? Yeah. I'll take it as yes. That sounds really old. Not that old. Okay, thanks a lot for being with us today. So I'm going to talk to you about how to build gating. Sorry we started a little bit late, so I'm going to try to catch up. Hopefully it's still going to be good. So, have you ever thought about why we are here? Why we are still here, us as human race? Why we have survived the Stone Age? So from all the species trying to survive, fighting for their lives, we were definitely not the quickest ones. We were not the strongest ones. We were not with the biggest teeth, not even with the thickest skin. So why? One might say it's because we're intelligent. And yes, probably, although back in the days we didn't have nukes, we didn't have guns, we didn't have special forces, it was just us and stones. So the other reason why I want to talk to you about this is because we managed to build teams. We managed to collaborate, we managed to work together, and that was why we survived the Stone Age. So the smallest team known to humanity is probably family. Mom, dad, and then kids. The more the better, they say. And this is why we survived. And a lot has changed. Obviously, we have different hairstyles, we wear different clothes, we have different housing conditions, but one is still in place. It's our need to survive. And it was exactly the same in Stone Age. We were driven by wanting to survive. It's just a little bit different, because now we go to work, we do our projects, we work on our Excels to get money, to provide for our family, and to survive. It was a little different then, but it's still highly encoded into our DNA that we want to survive. And we survive thanks to building things. And humans have an interesting thing where we try to survive, we want to feel safe and secure, and because of that we try to find connections with people around us, because then we can feel secure. So, how many people from Wrocław? Okay, cool. So if I'm going to go for a conference to Warsaw, and I'm going to meet you from Wrocław, I'm going to say, I'm from Wrocław, you're from Wrocław, let's go for a beer. Yes, because we are now connected. This is something that links us. We are no longer total strangers. In Wrocław we wouldn't speak to each other, but if we're in Warsaw, we are now connected. We're both from Wrocław. And we learn to scale this up. So if I'm going to go to England, and there's a lot of British that try to attack us and our friends generally, and I'm going to meet someone from Warsaw which I would normally not speak to, I'm going to say, you're from Poland, I'm from Poland, hey, let's go for vodka, forget the beer. That's what we do, we drink vodka. And I remember a couple of years back when I was talking to my friend, and it shocked me, because she said, Piotr, I feel more European than I feel Polish. I thought, wow, but the more I think about it, I understand that we need that safety. We want to feel safe, and because of that we try to build those connections with as many people as we can. We try to build like the biggest thing in the world. And I remember May 2004, how I felt, one, proud that we got into European Union, but I also felt way more safe. I thought that we are now part of the European Union. If anything would happen, they will protect us. And I understand this does not apply to English, but English, they've always been different. No metric system, driving wheel on the wrong side of the car, and recently the Brexit. So we want to join, they want to disconnect. Okay, if talking about safety, there's obviously one industry that comes to your mind right away that knows pretty much everything about safety, and that's obviously the military. And they, for some reason, they managed to do it really, really well. It takes incredible level of trust and courage to go with your co-workers on a daily basis, to go to work and risk your life for the safety of people that you've never actually met. And for some reason, military, they tend to do it right. You can see all around the world how people from ex-military, they become great leaders. And we actually have a couple of people in NewVoiceMedia that they used to serve in army, they are now in IT, and they are really good as leaders. And because I think I believe that every presentation, beside the fact that it should give you idea, and I'm going to try to give you that idea of how to build a really good, great team, it should also be fun. So to make it fun, we're going to connect the military with the Hollywood. So we're going to have a team from one of the movies, and Hollywood been able to provide us with some great examples how to build great teams within the military. The Dirty Dozen, Inglourious Basterds, Saving Private Ryan, and Band of Brothers. All great movies, all showing teams of random people connected somehow to make an impossible mission. So I'm going to try to convince you that you can build your own team in exactly the same manner. And it doesn't really matter if you work in IT, if you work wherever you work, if you've got a team of people, and no matter what role you are, you can be a manager, you can be a project manager, you can be a developer, or a tester, you can build a really good team by following a couple of really simple rules. And the team for us is going to be the A team. So I hope you all can recognize it. The series from the 80s. A crack commando unit that was convinced for crimes they did not commit, sent to a prison, but they managed to escape it. They're hiding in the underground of Los Angeles and surviving as soldiers of fortune. And if you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, then maybe you can hire the A team. So let's start in our A team. So we're going to have 5 elements, same as the A team has, 4 members, and obviously the coolest ride in the universe, just after the car from Back to the Future. So the first one for us, for our team, is going to be tools. We need to provide that team with some basic tools in order to even give them a chance to succeed. Because otherwise, people will focus on the small things, and instead of doing the real work, they will try to adjust to the place. So the first thing, comfortable desk and chair, because most of us work 8 hours per day sitting next to the computer. And that desk should be assigned to you. I know that recently it's quite popular by companies to have hot desking, but it just doesn't work. You need to feel that within your workplace you've got your own space. Same as we look for safety, we want that safety at our work, and our desk at the workplace is our safe place. So once we've got, so with the desk obviously comes the good laptop, the good screens, all the setup you need. So it doesn't have to think about it. If you're a developer, your build doesn't comply in a day. Software. Software is, again, really, really important. I'm not saying that we need to always buy the most expensive software. It's not about getting the most expensive tools, but it's about getting the right stuff. So if there are developers here, you know perfectly it's possible to use Notepad to write code. Because I did it. I wrote code in the past in Notepad. It's possible, but it's somewhere more effective to do it in Visual Studio or Eclipse or any other tool that is designed for it. If you've got a company that has people in England and in Poland and somewhere else, it's also important to have a good quality of audio-video connections and a good software that supports that. So people don't feel frustrated sitting in the meetings and like, they're not going to talk to me because they can hardly hear me. So having the desk, so we have that desk, we have the setup, we have the right software. Yeah, and again, the right, about not getting the most expensive stuff. We can get something in between, because we could use that high heel to put that nail in the wall, and it's going to work once, but if I'm going to ask you to do it 1,000 times, it's not funny anymore. Okay, and the final thing is fair wage. So I think people need to feel that they are rewarded, that the company values them and pays the right amount of money for their work. Otherwise, they will constantly think about those little things like my setup, my software, or the money unpaid. And instead of focusing on work, they will focus on those issues. Okay, so we've got the nice desk, we've got the salaries, we've got everything ready, and we can start hiring people. So people for us will be Templeton Facepack. He was the previous in the 18, so he's going to represent people. And when it comes to people, different organizations look for different sets of skills or values or things that they believe people need to have in order to work good for that company. And unfortunately, most of the organizations think that technical ability is the most important skill. So if you're good technically, that's fine, come on, we're happy to have you on board. I disagree with that. I think there's way more than just a technical knowledge that we should look into people before we're going to hire them. Point number one, which for me is absolutely most important, and I think it's a foundation of every single team ever built. It's ability to build relationships. And I've had that conversations 100 times with people that said, it's just work. It doesn't matter. I'm going to work and I'm going home, and the work doesn't matter. And we spend 8 hours per day, 5 days a week, which is 1/4 or 1/5 of our lives, working with those people. How could it not be important? How can you say, it doesn't matter, I don't need to have good relationships with people, or I don't need to invest in those relationships? It's crucial, because from that relationship comes a lot of different good things that the team needs, like trust, honesty, openness. I know that coach is probably going to say, well, you can build trust in a workshop. And like, yeah, we did 2 workshops. Great, now I trust you. It doesn't work. You need those relationships. You need to know those people. The trust comes as the last point, because it comes when you understand that other human being and when you kind of start trusting. And it takes time. And it's incredible. The first point is incredibly hard to do. And I know it's really hard work, because most of us went to IT to actually hide from people. We don't want to work with people. We want to sit down at the computer and just like focus on our work. People, sorry, we don't do people. So it's really hard, and it's really important for the organizations to try and check that and find that out. Point number 2 is communication. So assume we have people which are good in building relationships, and now we want them to communicate. And I know you've all seen memes like that on the internet, but this is basically how it is. I really don't get it. It's the 21st century. We've been to moon, and for some reason organizations believe that if we are adult professionals, then we know how to communicate. And we don't even teach about this. And some people think email is a good communication. And it's not. It's efficient, but it's not effective. It's efficient because you can send email to 100 people by 1 click, but it's effective because no one's going to read it. So email is good if you want to send some information, if you've got something that you want to send over, but then you should just walk over and explain that. So in email or in any written communication, you don't have body language, you don't see that other person. And imagine this, let's say that this conference is finished, and I'm sending you email, so I'm going to turn around, sorry for a minute, so you don't see me, and I'm typing you a message. You guys were the most terrible audience ever, thank you. And you're not going to think good, but if I'm going to stand here and say, you guys were the worst audience ever, thanks! Yay! So that makes the difference, you know I'm joking. In emails, you don't get it. You don't get it. More than half of the communication is gone. It's not even there. Because of that, it's crucial for us to communicate directly. And I've seen it in other companies where people see in open space. I even had it in NewVoiceMedia where someone's typing me like, how's your coffee? I'm like, mate, I'm here. 3 desks away. Don't type to me. Come and speak to me. It doesn't hurt. Okay, point number 3, which if we're going to cover point number 1 and 2, point number 3 should be easy. It's collaboration. So once we've got those people that want to build relations, or they build trust and so on, they are happy to communicate, and then they are happy to collaborate. And I've got a great example which I always give to people, what great collaboration to me is. We do many interviews a lot. And with testers, we usually ask one question. When do you know you had a great day at work? And 7 out of 10 responses is, because I found the bug. And I'm like, really? Because to me, that's like a failure. We just failed. We just spent X amount of hours preparing software that doesn't work. How can this be a success? So to me, a success is when testers going to say, we didn't find any bug and we shipped a code into production. What the rest of the team did is great, and we are able to do it. So from that tester's perspective, it could be a waste of time, because they did work, they tried to find the bug, it's not there, but the code went to production. It's a collaboration. It's the team. Team tries to provide some software. So if you put the team needs in the first place and your own need in the second place, then that's where we're going to be around. Okay, so we've got the right people now in the organization. Point number 3 is going to be John Hannibal Smith. So John Hannibal Smith, Mr. Plan B, the guy that always has the plan, that always foresee what's going to happen next. He always knew what the enemy is going to do. And to me, within that team, it stands for team culture. It stands for how they're going to work. And it's interesting because I was seeing Rob's presentation in the morning, and a lot of stuff that he was talking about, it's exactly in my presentation as well. I thought, one, maybe not great, but the other thing, we at least give the same message, which is pretty good. So from team culture, the first, I think most important for a team, work agreement. So the team agrees on the stuff that how they're going to work. It's the values that are important for them. It's the rules. It could be something simple as code never goes into production without code review. And then if the code goes into production without code review, you can have that discussion come in and say, look, it's on our work agreement. We agreed that we will not ship code without code review, and you did it. Why did you do it? If you don't have it kind of visible, then people are not always happy to have those hard discussions. But with work agreement, it's easier, and it could be really simple things for a new team. It could be something like, it's okay to ask questions. Sometimes people are not sure, can I ask questions? Should I question? Should I find on Google? So if those work agreements are visible for everyone, it's pretty obvious how we're going to work, how we're going to do it. It's simple. Second thing, similar to what Rob was talking about, is purpose. We need purpose. We need to understand why we're working, because otherwise, it's like a waste of our time. We need to, and most people make a mistake, like they try to come up with something big, like we're going to change the world. Not everyone can change the world. Not everyone can be Mother Teresa, and not everyone can be John Paul II. Sorry. And someone might say, yeah, so how do I find the reason for my job? And it's simple. It should be something really small. So for me, for this presentation, if at least one from you will go home and will on Monday sit down with your team and think, I think we can improve, I think we can work better, then for me, that's my purpose fulfilled. Then I feel I did my job. So it's really small, simple things. Shouldn't go big on this. The third thing with the team, it should have adjustable process. It should have a process that the team feels that they can change. Not everything works in every company, and we have our problems in NewVoiceMedia as well. But people know that they can change the process. It could be harder, it could be easier, but they know they can make the change. And if you're going to take that possibility from people, then they're just going to be like, okay, so I'm just going to sit here and write code for the rest of my life without purpose and reasons. You need to feel that you can change the things that doesn't work, and then you are also responsible for that. Okay, point number 4, space and empowerment. So that's obviously B.A. Baracus, big guy, the muscle guy. So that's empowerment. We need to give that team space, and we need to empower them to make the changes. Because then that's where, what Rob was saying, that's where the intrinsic motivation comes in. That's where, if they feel that they are also responsible for that product, they're also responsible for what we're going to produce, then that's where they start caring. And if they start caring, they're going to work much better and going to be much happier with their work. So self-organizing, the team should be given space to make their own decisions, to decide if we're going to do Scrum, if we're going to do Kanban, Scrumban, or whatever else works for us. But we shouldn't make that decisions for a team. There's absolutely no reason. And yeah, there's no reason why we should do it for them. The other thing is technical mastery. And I know I've said that I don't think technical mastery is something that we look for within the people, because we believe that, like, programming language you can teach everyone. Well, not everyone, but you can teach that to people. So we have people coming into our environment where we use C#, and they only can code in Java. And that's right for us, because we know they can learn the other language. So what we're looking for is for them to have the right mindset, to follow the principles, to write a clean code. So these are the things that we describe as technical mastery. It's not the knowing programming language, but it's to know how to write a good code that other people can use. And why did I put it within the team? It's because in our recruitment process, developers take a huge part in it. So at NewVoiceMedia, it's not like as a manager, I'm going to make a decision if someone makes it to company or not. There's actually a stage in the interview where it's only the developers deciding if someone goes through. Someone sends a code review, or someone sends his coding exercise, and our developers are looking through it and saying, is this a code I would like to work with? And if the answer is yes, then we're happy to progress to the next stage. And thanks to that, we know that the technical mastery will be in place, that the people we will not have a situation one sits and says, yeah, 5 of us doing work and there's one guy sitting in the corner not doing anything, but no one's going to fire him and it's just going to last like that. We're not going to build a great team in that manner. Point number 5 is diversity, and that's obviously Holy Mad Murder, so the crazy pilot that in every episode he was running away from psychiatric ward, and it represents that our team needs to be made of different people, of different characteristics. So the first one is people characteristics. So we need both introverts and extroverts. And it's incredible because one of our teams, we've got a guy who's like a total introvert. I remember one of Scrum Master asked him, would you prefer me to run retrospectives in Polish rather than English so you can speak more? And he said, I'm silent in English, same as I am in Polish. And since that team, we had a girl joining that team who is totally opposite. She's an extrovert. Right away she's like, hi, nice to meet you. And instantly she's going to talk with everyone, she's going to build relationships, she's always talking all the time. And we now see that guy is opening and he cares more. And now in retrospectives, he's the one to start talking, because he knows if he's not going to start talking, then she's going to talk the entire retrospective. Which is good, because we made what we wanted to make. We want the team to speak up, and it's a way to make him speak up. It's good. It's also like different. I can talk a lot. I talk a lot all the time, and within development managers group, we also form kind of a team, and every day we have our own stand-up where we discuss our own problems. And for me, it's incredible to see other more introverts members of dev management when they're not talking all the time, like me. They just sit quietly and they just think what they're gonna say. And I started talking to less, and sometimes they are like, are you around? Yeah, okay. So it's important to have different people, because then those different people will start picking the best things out of each other. Once I thought that the way to build an ideal team is to have one great developer and just clone him 5 times, and that's the team down. But no, it doesn't work. You would make the same mistakes all the time. He wouldn't change the process because the process would be perfect already, for him at least. Nothing would change, and you would have lots of problems. And thanks to the fact that we've got that diversity, those people are different, then we can pick it up. And the other thing, we need different roles within that team. And I had that conversation so many times. People keep saying that product owners are not members of a team. And we did interviews, a couple of, Maciek is waving his head, he doesn't agree. And I keep saying, he is. And that's the thing, we need different roles within that team. We need developers, we need testers, we need business, we need Scrum Master that do different roles. Because having all of those different people means they're going to have a different view on the problem we're trying to solve, and they're going to solve this problem collaboratively. And this is the only way to do it. I don't know how a team made up just of developers can work. We run what we call Free Amigos sessions, where we sit down, a developer, a tester, and a product owner, or someone from business, and they are, before we even going to start coding, they spend sometimes hours to understand what we're trying to build, why we're trying to build it, how we're going to build it. And having all three of them means we're going to combine the vision and we're going to be able to make something so good that the testers won't even have anything to do, because most of the work will be already done in the first place. And there you have it. So that's all my five rules really for building the A team. I know there's been 1,000 books written about how to build a good team. There's a lot of research being done. This is what I observed from my 12 years experience working within the team and working on site and trying to help people build that team. And this is the things that actually work. So I would like to challenge you today. If you're going to go home, you're going to go to work on Monday, try to sit down and think about your team and think what you could improve. So it's a poor phrase, but don't ask what your team can do for you, ask what you can do for your team. And it really doesn't matter. It's probably easiest if you're a Scrum Master, because Scrum Master sits usually within the team and has kind of a big enough influence to change the way the team works. But even, let's say, within your team everyone sends emails. So the thing you can do every single time one of your colleagues is going to send you an email, you can go to his desk and say, I just got your email, would you mind telling me about it, because I'm not going to read it. And if you're going to do it 10 times, then 11th time he's not going to send it, because he knows you're going to come over to his desk and you're going to ask, can you tell me what it's all about? And being honest, I've got like 2,000 unread emails in my mailbox. And it's usually like something important comes in, like, I don't have the time to do it. I'm going to leave it as unread and come back to it. And there we go. I remember he says, it's fine, because I think if it's important, they're going to call you. So simple as that. So try to go to your team, sit down, and no matter of your role, think what of those rules doesn't work. Maybe you can come up with something else. Maybe you found something that was really good for your team, and it's worth sharing with them as well. Just to rephrase, tools. So tools is like a basic needs. It's the basic that we need in place to even give that team a chance. Because without it, there's going to be so much frustration that there's no point in trying. People, and that's actually a mindset, and that's most important. People need that mindset to be ready to do what we need. And team culture, which is like purpose and the way that the team's going to work. And space and empowerment, so we make them care, we make them responsible for that code, task, or whatever else they're going to do as well. And diversity, because, well, diversity is probably the least you can do about, because you can always go to your manager and say, we need some crazy people in our team, because we're all set up and it's good, we need someone crazy to get us moving. But that's it. So thanks a lot. Any questions? Feel free to ask.
I have a question. You mentioned about the diversity, but very often they can be like a conflict within a team. How do you handle conflicts between people?
So the question was, if you've got diversity within a team, then you've got conflict. And how do you manage that conflict? So I believe if you've got strong relationship within a team, and if you've got trust, then there won't be a conflict. You can have people that have different mindsets and believe in different things. And actually, we have it in one of our teams, where we have two very strong developers, and they have totally opposite views. And they are constantly talking about it, like, no, we should do it that way, no, we should do it the other way. And even some people around them are saying, are they arguing? I'm like, no, it's fine, it's not a conflict. So a conflict exists if there is no trust, if there is no relationship, then yeah, it could be conflict. Then I would say the best way to resolve it is to start from the bottom. Build relationship with those people so they can start trusting each other and they can just start talking about the issue and not have conflict, sorry. Does that answer the question?
Thank you very much.
Cool. Any other questions? Yeah?
If you build a new team and you are looking for people for it, how do you choose the right people? Do you just get the ideal team, or you just use some social tricks to find the proper ones and make the team would work properly.
Okay, so the question was, if we build a new team, how do we find the right people? How are we using some social tricks, or what is the way for us to find those right people? There is no really simple answer. So for us, it was a hard process of changing our recruitment process. And I would say like that. It took us really, really long. It took us ages, and Ola, who's our technical recruiter, when she joined us, she was like, wow, but your process is like totally different than our companies. When we started hiring in Wrocław, we tried to use agencies, but we couldn't, because when we explained the process, they were like, you're crazy. And because when we went to meet them, and they said, so here's the table, tell us what technologies you want. Like, we don't care about technologies. No, that's impossible. You need to have technologies to have the right people. I said, no, we don't mind technologies. We want the people with the right mindset. So they didn't really understand it. And I think it just takes, once you get hundreds of interviews, you start understanding this. So I'm on purpose, when I'm going to an interview, some might say it's rude, but I'm on purpose, when I'm going to interview, I'm not reading CV. Because I don't want to get biased by what is written in there. I want to go and I want to meet a person and I want to understand. So we just ask questions. So for example, with the relationship, we ran face-to-face interviews for Scrum Master recently, and we had a lot of Scrum Master attending. And one of the questions was, can you please describe me your team, the team you currently work at? And in most cases, you could see right away that there is no relationship in that team. When someone starts saying, yeah, it's Jacek, Tomek, Kamila, Bartek, he's good in C#, she's in SQL, don't know him. He works, there was an answer that someone said, yeah, he works 3 days a week. And I said, why? I don't know, probably he likes it. I'm like, okay, if it works. So I think if you make those interviews, then you start learning and understanding people. And we made a couple of mistakes ourselves. We hired people that they were not able to fit the culture we built. But it's an organism that lives for its own. If we're hiring the right people, then the new people that comes in, they will not fit in even in their picture, because we're building that culture. We're constantly saying this. We're saying we need the right fit, we need the technical mastery, we need openness, we need people that build relationship, and then everyone around us understands this. And it's one of the things Anya said that I built. I didn't build it, we all built it, because I might have started it. I said this is originally started from Rob Lambert. He was like the father of the rules, of the values that we now believe in, but once you hire people that fit that profile, then it's just doing the interviews. Sorry, it was a long answer. Cool. Any other questions? Are we good to call victory? Yeah?
Consider that if you are hiring, it's easy to see in when there's not a lot of people, but when you're hiring someone, or actually you're saying someone fits to the value, but actually if you add someone, it changes a little bit. If you have thousands of people, you add one, there's no change at all, but if you have like smaller company or smaller team, you are changing to the values so strong. How do you manage that?
So the question was, if we hire people, the people bring new values, and how we maintain our culture. And it's a good question. So one, we're still lucky enough to be small enough. And so first of all, the process is really hard. It's hard to get work with us, and Ola's been frustrated with us hundreds of times when she said, I found you the best candidate, it's the best in the world. And we were like, no, really, sorry. And she got so mad at me sometimes. But, so we've got the bar kept high. And that bar high already checks a lot of that stuff. But what you're saying, we don't want to protect ourselves from that new things, because we believe that the new things that people bring actually make us richer. So you've got Asha that sits just behind you. She came from us from Credit Suisse, which is like a huge bank, it's a huge company. And one might say, what is she doing here? In a small startup, 300 people, she should not be here. But she's got some incredible skills that we can use. And we also, as a company, we need to evolve, we need to change. So it's just making sure that once she comes for the interview and we tell her how we work, she's like, ah, forget it, you guys are crazy. So as long as she aligns with our rules, if she brings something extra, that's okay, we don't mind it. Okay, that answers? Cool. Okay? Any more questions? We have to go for a coffee. Thanks a lot, guys.